Hello everybody, JB here once again, playing Ships Challenge with episode 5 of this Let's Play series. Well, in this video, we're going to be tackling two rather lengthy levels, starting with this one, and we got two choices here, but both will take us all around this maze. Now, essentially all this level is just a thin wall maze, and it has three pairs of boots, well, three boots in the context of the game, but they lead to three different ships that are hidden behind various obstacles. And as you can see right down here, we got a pair of fire boots waiting for us. So let's go ahead and collect these. Now, a smart strategy that will save some time is to collect the first two boots and then backtrack and go to the other path and go all the way around. So we're going to do that here to save some time so that you won't be too bored watching this video. And we can move on to the next level, which does take quite a while. So yeah, this maze is not actually too hard in terms of finding your way around, because ultimately you can see a lot more with all of these walls being thin than you would if all the walls were real walls. Well, plain walls, they are real walls, but, you know, regular size walls, kind of like the ones right here to our right. And right now, as I'm playing this, I can hear some sort of marching band playing music. I don't know why, because it's right now, it's 8:33 in the morning, so I've never heard a marching band play this early in the morning, but maybe they're just practicing or something. But we do have a high school right here, so maybe that's why. I've always lived here by the high school. It's just, I've never heard a marching band play this early in the morning, so I have no idea. So anyhow, as you can see, we're backtracking to the very beginning. And as you probably noticed while we were passing by up here, there's a chip behind a force floor where we'll get to use our suction boots. You might have also noticed that there was a chip that was behind, a chip that was behind water earlier, and this is where we'll need a pair of flippers that we'll get later on. That chip is the reason why it's shorter to go this way, because without it being there, you probably would just be able to go around like one whole circuit and then just backtrack. But it is quite lengthy in terms of backtracking over here. Thankfully, this level does not have many dead ends that are very long. So like this dead end to my left, you can easily find that and backtrack without too much problem. Alright, and we're nearing the chip next to the fire. Good, good, good. Now somebody, several years ago, made a mod of this level that added a walker clone machine at the very beginning that was constantly going off. And it actually wasn't as hard as it may sound, because the walkers couldn't really get very far because they had to make all these turns and such. But it was a pretty interesting mod, I will admit. The only problem with it is that you couldn't really execute this optimal route, mainly just because they blocked the starting area. So if you tried to execute the optimal route, you would need tons and tons of luck. Something that I'm not exactly in much supply of. But like I said in the last few videos, we're just playing the game for fun, so if we ever get to a random level like Blobnet or something like that, we won't worry too much about getting an optimal time, because it would be a royal pain to try to do that. Well, I think we're nearing the very end of this level. And as you can see down there, there's the exits. So what exactly has been going on with me lately? Let's see. Not a whole lot, really. I've been trying to search for a job because I started a photography business, and I'm trying to support the business, so here's to hoping that I'll find a job eventually. I don't know if one will come very soon, but I'm continuing to look, and just hoping and praying for the best. Now, up here, as you'll notice, there's where we came earlier, as far as the place where we backtracked with the suction boots. And over here is the exits. Alright, we got pretty close to the bold time. Saved quite a bit of time there. And the next level is the notorious On the Rocks. Now this level, you basically have to clone lots and lots of blocks to get to 9 different chips. Now, I gotta say, this level is kind of the opposite of BlobNet for me. BlobNet, if you're playing it just for fun and you don't really want to optimize it, it can be a lot of fun. But if you're trying to play it for time, it's a royal pain, like I mentioned earlier. Whereas this level, if you try to play it for oops. Okay, yeah, this is the bad part about this level, is that you can easily make a misstep. Alright, let's try that again. Thankfully, we didn't get too far. So yeah, the bad part about this level is that if you don't know where you're going, it can be a royal pain. But if you're trying to optimize it, it can actually be a lot of fun. And in this level, I'm going to try to use a route that will hopefully save some time. It's not going to be all optimized and everything, but it's going to be generally a little bit faster than most normal routes. And there's one particular strategy that will help save a lot of time that I'll show you here. And I'm going to try to take this easy so we won't die again like we did just there. Okay, so let's go over here. Good, good, good. So yeah, apparently there was also this rather weird urban legend that circulated about this level that said that if you filled up all the water spaces except one in this whole level and then drowned yourself, then something would happen. But unfortunately, that was just an urban legend. Or maybe I should say fortunately, because if it wasn't an urban legend, we'd have people wasting their time trying that. Alright, so now as you can see, we're building back up right here. And what this will do is it will allow us to get to that chip to the left of the clone machine a little bit easier. And from there on out, after we get past this section, the rest of the level isn't so bad. There's one area where we can just make a straight line down to some chips. Now there's a level later on. Here's what, before I get to that, here's what we're going to do. I placed a block right there, and I'm going to slide blocks on there to get to this chip over here. See, this is a lot faster to do it this way. And we can just easily do the same thing for the other side too. So anyway, this other level, later on, and I believe it's like the second to last level, there's a level where you have to explode a bunch of bombs in this area that's a lot smaller than this level's area. But the problem with it is that you only got one clone machine, and it's just really, really irritating just to have to do the same thing over and over again. I'm trying to make this level a little bit more interesting, but in that level, it's almost impossible to make things rather interesting. And actually, the build time, despite the smaller playing area, the build time is actually a lot longer. Well, not a lot longer, but I think like a whole minute longer, almost, than this one. So we got another chip, and now we're trying to build up to that cloner up there, so we don't have to use this one. So this will be our last block, and we can say goodbye to the first cloner. He was a very good friend to us, right? Wow, I just referred to a block cloner as a he. That's pretty sad, isn't it? I mean, it's not quite as classy as referring to the companion cube in Portal as a he, or, you know, as your friend or whatever, but yeah, I guess when you play a level like this for a long time, it kind of gets on you like that, you know? Alright, so now we're building a path to the right, and this should lead us to another area, which is pretty close to the exit, and we can then get to another block cloner that will gain or allow us access to 3 more chips. And we should be pretty much on our way to solving this level. One fun thing about this level that you can be challenged with if you're optimizing it is all this boosting that we're having to face here. So yeah, it's pretty nice if you're someone who enjoys boosting, but if you're going for a non-optimal time, it can be pretty fun just to slide around the ice too. There's a designer who made a mod of this level as well, where they replaced all the water with ice and all the ice with water. and I believe it was called On the Rinks, and it actually worked. Like the entire level, you could just slide around, and it actually functioned as a pretty fun ice maze, if I remember right. Of course, all the block cloner areas, I think those were replaced with water too, but I'm not sure. Alright, so now we can use this cloner to get down to the bottom area. And hopefully we won't make any missteps here. I believe this level was designed by Chuck Somerville, who was the creator of Chips Challenge. Now, there's a number of level designers who worked on the original game, but he was the person who actually came up with the game itself, I believe. So we do have him to thank for this level. One thing that I find rather confusing, though, is that at the very bottom they have these block cloners right here, which really, like that one, which really don't serve much of a purpose. And like, there's another one in the very bottom left that's all the way down at the very bottom. And I really don't know how you could use those because the clone buttons are always above the clone machine. So if you try to push stuff up from there, where the block touches the button, you'll get killed because you'll be pushing that button right when you're below it, and you'll get trampled by the clone block. The reason why they always put the buttons on top of the clone machines is that in the original Lynx mode, all the what am I trying to say? The clone and trap connections had to be in reverse reading order, kind of like teleports, where the button was either to the left and above the clone machine. And if there was only one button in the entire level, this wasn't an issue. But when there were several buttons, they always had to be in that order. You know, from right to left, bottom to top, the clone machine, and then the button. Alright, so we're now done collecting chips, and we only have 3 more blocks, so we've got to clone and push into water. We've made quite a bit of good time here, so thankfully this wasn't quite as long as I was expecting it to be. By the way, I'd like to take this time right now to go ahead and thank everybody who has commented on these videos so far. Thanks for watching these, I really do appreciate it, and I hope these videos have been fun and informative and hopefully somewhat entertaining. I'm not exactly the best humor type person in the world, but hopefully you've been enjoying these nonetheless. And we're finished! Alright. On the Rocks Conquered. Now the next level is, as the dispatch for this game, or this level says, one of the most important levels in the set. In fact, I think it even said the most important level. And essentially what it is it's a level that reveals the 3 passwords to 3 later levels. Now as you can see, we're in a room that's shaped like the letter I. And we move down here, there's a letter P, that's part of another password. And we move to the left, the previous letter of this password is another P. And the previous letter of the first password up here is another L. Okay, and this is the first letter of the first password. This is an L too, so it's LLI something. And this letter is an H, which is the first letter of the second password, so it's HPP something. And down here at the bottom, we got the third password, which starts with a J. And this right here is an H. And over yonder here is what looks like an E. And finally an N. So JHEN is the password at the very bottom. Now the last letter of the second password is an X, so it forms HPPX altogether. And the last password or letter of the first password is O, so LLIO is the first password. Alrighty dighty, now here at the very end, we're going to go ahead and stop, because we have another level that I kind of want to take some time showing, and it's a really fun level too, and yet another example of how fun monster leading can be. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up right here, so this is a do for now, but for now, I'll probably be recording another video because it's daytime at this point, and I do apologize if I've been kind of a little grumbly, or not grumbly, mumbly in the last few videos. but I was recording at night when I was doing that, so I didn't really want to wake anyone else up. But for now, this is JB saying goodbye, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.